Welcome to Exploring the Mystical Side of Life with your host, Linda Lang.
Hi, this is Linda Lang from ThoughtChange.com, your resident transformation specialist. We are exploring the mystical side of life once again this week. I have angel intuitive healer Melissa Basque with me. Welcome, Melissa.
Hello, so happy to be here.
So, Melissa, you are an angel intuitive healer, and I know that you communicate with the angels. Can you share with us how the angels are willing and able to help each one of us on our path?
Great question. So, the how is an interesting way to look at it. It's basically, you don't even need to ask how. It's always there, it's always present, always abundant, just like you are. And so, I think what people realize is they think am I supposed to, is there a formula? Do I have to do something? If I'm a better person, can I get the angels? No, everybody has the angels. Everybody has access. Everybody's an infinite being, beautiful, abundant. And so the angels really just want to give that to you. And so all you have to do is ask. And I'm no different from you or anyone else. I'm just like everyone. We're all equal. We're all these beautiful beings. My job is really, what I went through and my journey and how I got here is to get people to really remember that truth. So for me, it's like, okay, I'm sitting in this room right now, but I just see beyond the walls. My whole house opens up and I literally see heaven and all of these angels, hundreds, and it's beautiful. And part of my story is I probably for 20 years tried to shove this away. I can't do this. I can't be seen like this. I'm crazy. And so that is my battle. And I just want people to know whether you see angels or not doesn't matter. It's really, can you allow yourself to love yourself and know you're an infinite being? Because the angels, if you see them, that's great. You can see them, but they always communicate through your heart. So there's no pressure either. It's just such a gift.
That's a beautiful message. So you had this fear of whether you were normal or whether you were going mad. How did you overcome that and actually start communicating and working with the angels?
I've been working with the angels at least 20 years, but when my daughter was an infant, like I would keep it secret. I would go outside and walk her in the stroller and I would have these long conversations with angels. And I thought, doesn't everybody do this? And then I would go home and be like, I can't let anyone know what I'm doing. So, and then my training is in counseling. I have 2 graduate degrees in counseling, and I was trying to be a mainstream therapist because I had to keep this all hidden. And then I noticed that I couldn't do it. I literally became physically ill. So I had to step into the angel realm because that's really my passion, my soul's work. And if I don't listen to that, I'm going to die, probably get sick, really sick. So that's what happened there. I had to just allow it, but it was a gradual sort of stepping into for years.
What I'm hearing from that, and what I believe, is that if you're not following your purpose, your path, your soul's calling, that path keeps coming back and coming back and coming back, that you continually have opportunities to step onto your path. But if you keep avoiding it, eventually there are consequences.
Yeah, because we really do choose everything for ourselves. And so one of the things I do in my sessions, it's like I really want to empower people. Really, the truth is that you're an amazing infinite being. So any healing that occurs in the session is from you anyway. And I want people to know that is who you are. And so a lot of people will come and they're sort of anxious and depressed and they're not believing in themselves. And the angels do step in and magic happens but it's really about that person unlocking their own truth. That is always there. That beauty is always there. And so that was my path, I can't know this truth. And then I finally unlocked it and I said, this is who I am, Melissa Basque, and I talk to angels.
Melissa, you told me before we hit record that there were a ton of angels that showed up for you this morning. What message did they give you today?
Well, I went for a walk too this morning with them, and so much energy and beauty. And they're pretty much like, Melissa, you got this. Like, just tell people who you are. You know how to help them. Everything in my life has brought me to where I am now. And that's the gift that I can be to someone else. Like, are you struggling? Do you not believe in yourself? Oh, I've been there. I've been there. And I know how to get out. And guess what? That's not who you really are anyway. It's all a lie. And so the angels just want you to know that, and angels aren't into, you have to thank them, you have to do that, you have to do this. No, it's all love. And there's no difference in angels in my experience. Yes, the archangels are great and they're all on the same level and they just want to help you remember who you are. And it seems simple, but we get in our way, the negative thinking. And that's something that I work on too. And that we're not our thoughts.
We are not our thoughts.
Yeah, but it's also unhooking, just knowing you can unhook from the past and the future, that you're the present moment. That's all you ever are. Like right now with you and me, this second is all we ever have. And now, now it's gone. And now we have the next second, and that's beautiful. And that's all you ever need. And so Byron Katie, actually, I don't know, I'll mention her because she's one of my great teachers. She says, you are the person you've been waiting for. You're the gift. And her training, which I recommend to all my clients, is pretty much getting out of that negative past, which tortures you. You're not your past. You're not your future. You're right now in the present moment. And that's a gift that the angels want us to remember too. So that is the space where healing really happens.
Melissa, you have a beautiful story of how the angels saved your life. Would you share it with us?
Sure, let me share it. So I was 22 years old, and very interesting, very quick story, but changed my life. I was in Baltimore, Maryland, and I was going down this huge hill. There's like 4 lanes, a lot of cars, and I was just driving, not really thinking very much, as you do when you drive sometimes. And this voice to my right screamed so loudly, like I literally thought there was a person in my car, and it was a male angel, and it was like, stop now. And I was like, it just jolted me, and I stopped my car. And so I was on this hill, and I left like this huge space between me and the next car because it was a red light. And all of a sudden I hear this rattling. I'm like, what is that? And this truck flipped over right in front of me, right where I was supposed to pull up. And I would have been killed instantly. And this woman stopped, because everyone was stopped, and came running up to me. And she's like, oh my God, how did you know to stop? Because she just ran away. And I wanted to tell her, oh my God, this angel just saved my life. And the thing is I never believed in angels. So then I went home, I called my dad. I'm like, Dad, an angel saved my life. And that's where, so my story, I slammed the door shut again. Because he was like, what? That doesn't happen. That's what happened to me. If anyone else of your listeners has experienced that, if the door would open, I'd be like, oh my God, amazing, incredible, this is wonderful. And then I would slam the door. And then, I have to be a mainstream therapist. The door would open, and some angels would come in during sessions, beautiful, amazing. And then I would say, no, I have to shut this door. So it was open and shut, open and shut. But I like to tell people it's literally like a light switch. If you choose to have the angels come in, all you have to do is ask and receive. But obviously, this was a very long lesson for me to learn. Something about being different was very hard for me, but that's who I am. And each of us is perfect just as we are. And I really do get that now.
They are very persistent, those angels, aren't they?
They are, in a beautiful way. They never judge. It's never harsh. Just beauty.
So, a lot of the things that we associate with angels, and perhaps religion too, maybe has more of a human spin on it than what is actually accurate.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much in the Bible that is beautiful, like Jesus saying, you can do this and more. It's one of my favorite statements. And each of us has that. If you ask me what my intention is in working with my clients, is for them to find out who they are, their magic, amazing, true nature that is always there no matter what. So I focus on that. You can get lost, which I did. Would be another example of me shutting the door in that this is wrong somehow to be this amazing. I think of Marianne Williamson and her poem, your deepest fear is your light that you're most afraid of. And each of us has that right to shine and be that true light. But that is where religion sometimes can mess you up. And it's beautiful too. So take what works for you. As long as your light is shining, it's true for you.
Very good message, Melissa. Our path is different from every other soul's path. We all have a perfect place, and that means that we can shine in places that other people can't, and that they can shine in places that we just don't.
Right. No path is better than another. We're all equal. Yeah, that is really true. And I like to say that a lot because people sometimes will compare. That is one of the, I guess, deadly sins, comparison. And it's just one of the worst things you can do for you because each of us has this amazing light that literally goes down our core. And it's all you ever need. It's more than enough.
I agree. It's very detrimental. If you think that you're better than someone else or less than, I mean, either way, no one wins. I channeled a message once about comparison, and it was probably the sternest or most forceful message that I've received. And it talked about how we've kind of blasphemed that word comparison, that in a spiritual context, comparison is meant to be more like, oh, look what Melissa can do. I wonder what I can do. Instead, when we think of comparison, quite often we'll go to, oh, look what Melissa can do. Oh, I can't do that. I must not be good enough. So it's kind of a fine line to kind of stay out of that comparison of better than and less than, and to step instead into that world of wonder and what is possible.
Yeah. Everything is possible. And you have the power. You're an amazing, powerful person. And that's one of the things that we're all trying to tap into, aren't we? Yeah.
So, how do you recommend that people actually start tapping into their own magnificence?
Well, one of the first steps is always to get out of that egoic thought process. This is Earth School, so we do have ego thinking. And I've certainly been lost in egoic thinking. It's torturous. You have to begin to pull yourself into the present moment, however you can do that. Breathing, lighting a candle, saying a prayer, going for a walk. Nature really helps pull us into the present moment. The awareness of it is huge. That's how we really do it. Once you pull yourself out of that, then you can find more spaciousness and peace. Because when you're in that space, you don't even want to compare. You don't have to. It's not necessary. Yeah, you're enough. And when you're with people who are at peace, it doesn't matter who they are, you never feel judged. You just feel happy in their presence. It's just, there's no comparison. The person's not comparing you to anything. You can feel it, right? Because we're all energy.
So true. And when you're in that space with someone who's in that energy, it's like their presence lifts you up.
But it's like you can't need that. So that was one of my other traps. See, I know all the traps. Don't do it. Just stop and remember who you are. It's a habit too, right? It's our culture.
It is. And it's the way that we're taught to look at things. We're in a problem solving mode, or we focus on fixing the flaws because we want things to go easier and smoother. But what if there are no flaws?
There are no flaws. You are perfect just as you are. How do you remember that? You remember that by going into looking at what are you doing to yourself. You do have to be aware of it. And then, certainly angels can help, and you don't need anyone. You can do this on your own. That's how magnificent you are. And that's what I guide people to. How can I teach you to do this also on your own, to tap into your own connection, your own sense of being and who you are? That's what's so important. That's the gift.
And a little ritual can actually really help you tune in. You create some sacred space, you embody that space, your presence grows, and it's simply having the awareness, the intention, the focus, the mindfulness while you light that candle.
What I often do, let's say I'm having a busy day because I have a family, and the angels like me to do this when you're busy and your egoic mind might be turned on a little bit too much, is you can write things down. Ask the angels a question on a notebook, and then don't filter it. Let it just, whatever comes, and they will answer you. And that can help. That helps me really ground and get centered and clear. And anyone can do that. But that's the next piece, getting people to trust who they really are, which is, again, something I had to struggle with. I can really trust myself. I'm this amazing infinite being. Well, yes, and so are you, and so are you, and so are you, and so are you. Yes, that's the truth. And so it's simple tools, right? But once you really get it, and it's really that person's choice on some level, you can really transform your whole life.
And no request is too big or too small.
That's right.
We've all heard about the parking angels, right? So, are there any other 3D life things that angels can help us with besides parking?
Yes. Well, I'm immediately going to people who have passed over to the other side. People say, well, I'm a medium, but anybody can, again, anyone can do this. But that was something that was very interesting to me. Having the angels in my life, they would bring family members who had passed forward and tell me things. How would I know that? For example, I had a family member pass, and she was diagnosed with cancer and died very quickly. And no one thought it would be that severe. And so right after we found out the diagnosis, I was outside because that's where it's so easy to connect with angels. And my deceased grandmother came in, and so beautiful, but she was dancing. Oh my God, you know, this relative is going to join us soon. And it was like all the grief, all the fear that I had, because I didn't want this person to be sick and die, unfortunately, but that was her path, was lifted because she was excited. It was like she was joining her own family in another realm, which is exactly what was going on. But one level, I'm going, how can I know this? And it was beautiful all at the same time. So angels can do that. They can open us to all possibilities, other realms. Death, it can be a huge fear for people, and there's no reason to fear death at all. And your own connection with your angel team can help with that. And I do get messages. I don't really consider myself a medium. I don't really consider myself even an angel healer. I'm just someone who's open. And I've been through a lot, so I know how to help you. But I guess I have to hold something, right? Because we are in this form, in this human body. So I call myself an angel healer. Anyone can do this and be gifted with this relief and joy of life now. and even life after life.
How do people start opening that door to communicating with their angels?
There are so many ways to do it. In the shower, when water hits you, water is a very good way to tap in. The flow of the water really helps. You can ask a question in the water and then trust your intuition for the answer. So there is a piece of trusting that always needs to be sort of worked on. It's pretty much, how can we get you to trust yourself and know you're not making it up, and it's okay to do this. It's okay to trust your intuition, trust angels. So simple things like going out in nature, writing down in a journal, having a meditative practice for 5 minutes. I find if you say more than 5 minutes for someone who's new to it, it's too much pressure. And you don't want that. Should be a nice experience for you. Asking your angels, angels, show me how I can communicate with you. Angels, talk to me. Ask them in a form of a question. What does the Bible ask and you will receive? It's very true. So ask them, talk to me in a way I can understand and show me, please. Thank you.
What do you think about asking them for a sign?
Yeah, now a lot of people are into signs like birds, feathers, you know, concrete things. And it's so interesting that you say that because I used to do that. I want to be shown a feather. And today I want to be shown a feather. I was like very clear. I'll just be honest with you. On the fifth day, this angel came down and he's like, Melissa, you don't need the feather. We're here. Other people may need that, and that's fine. What I'm saying is, don't get so hooked on that. That was the message I got. And I just started laughing and I was like, oh, okay, I got it.
I guess there's a level of mistrust, maybe, or doubt when you need a sign to actually believe.
My sign was he came and talked to me. But for someone else, you have to talk to your angel and be very clear. Ask in your dreams. When we're in a dream state, you're more open. So someone who's a little resistant, doesn't really believe this stuff so much, say, ask, show me in a dream very clearly what is going on. And they will. You just keep asking, show me the way. I really need to hear from you. And they will.
And everyone can do it.
Everyone can do it, for sure. Yeah, there's no magic miracle here. It's really remembering who you are, right?
I like to think of it more like there's magic and miracles for everyone all the time.
I know. It's like, even if you don't remember your connection to who you are, to the universe, to angels, it's always there, even if you don't know it's there. And I used to hear that years ago, and when I was stuck. And that used to bring me peace. So I always want people to hear that, to know that that pure part of you is always available, always there, even if you're not tapping into it. And guess what? It's okay if you're lost at the moment. You can find your way out, for sure. Everyone can.
Melissa, how would people connect with you if they would like to reach out?
So I have a website, angelhealingwithmelissa.com.
Thanks, Melissa, for being my guest this week.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. This is great.
And thank you for listening to this episode of Exploring the Mystical Side of Life. You will find all of our conversations on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. Remember to subscribe and tell your friends. Come and visit me at thoughtchange.com to learn what energy medicine can do for you. While you're there, pick up your copy of Learning to Listen. You never know, those angels might be talking to you already. That's it for this week. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.